guys, this is Aika Gulshan and today the topic of discussion is conjunctivitis. So what is conjunctiva? It is thin transparent mucous membrane which covers the under surface of the eyelid and interior surface of the eye wall. So the parts of conjunctiva, it has three parts: palpebral, bulbar and fornical. Bulbar conjunctiva, it starts at the mucocutaneous junction of the eyelid and covers the under surface of the eyelid, and bulbar conjunctiva which covers the interior surface of the eyeball and it is adherent to the Tennon capsule and ends at the limbus. And fornical conjunctiva, it is circular and it is between eyelid and eyeball and it is freely movable. So the structure of conjunctiva, it consists of epithelium and stroma. Epithelium is 2 to 5 cell layer non-keratinized squamous cell epithelium which become continuous with the epithelium of the cornea at limbus. And it consists of goblet cells, and the basement membrane of this epithelium consists of type 4 collagen, and the stroma is consist of two parts: adenoid layer and fibrous layer. Adenoid layer consists of connective tissue reticulum which contains lymphocyte, macrophage and mast cells. This layer is absent at birth and develop after 3 to 4 months of age. And the fibrous layer, it is a deeper layer, consists of meshwork of collagenous and elastic tissue which contain blood vessels, nerve, molar muscle and accessory lacrimal gland. The conjunctiva has two types of gland: accessory gland and mucous gland. Accessory gland which secrete the aqueous layer of the tear film, and mucous gland which secrete the mucus. Accessory glands has gland of Krause and glands of Wolfram. Gland of Krause, they are present in the subconjunctival connective tissue in the upper fornix and lower fornix. In the upper fornix they are 42 in number, and in the lower fornix they are 6 to 8 in number. And the second type of accessory lacrimal gland is gland of Wolfram. They are present at the upper border of the tarsus plate and at the lower border of tarsus plate. And second type of glands are mucous gland. They are gland of Mans which are present at the limbus, gland of Henle which are in subpalpebral part of the conjunctiva, and the third type is goblet cells which are present in the epithelium of the conjunctiva. So coming towards the blood supply, it has two types of vessels: anterior conjunctival vessels and posterior conjunctival vessels. Anterior conjunctival vessels provide the bulbar conjunctiva around the cornea, and the posterior conjunctival vessels provide the blood in the palpebral part of the conjunctiva in the eyelid. So the anterior conjunctival vessels arise from the anterior ciliary artery, and which is the branch of muscular arteries, and it is also drained by the anterior ciliary vein. And the posterior conjunctival vessels arise from the peripheral arcade, and peripheral arcade is formed by the lateral palpebral and medial palpebral branches, and these are the branches of the lacrimal artery, this one, and the ophthalmic artery, this one. So the venous drainage, it is drained into the venous plexus of the eyelid, and finally into the supraorbital vein and infraorbital vein, and the anterior part of the conjunctival vessels drain into the interior ciliary vein. Its nerve supply is supraorbital nerve, infraorbital nerve, supratrochlear nerve, infratrochlear nerve and lacrimal nerve. Coming towards the lymphatic drainage, the medial part of the conjunctiva is drained by submandibular node, and lateral part of the conjunctiva is drained by preauricular lymph node. Coming towards the function of the conjunctiva, it combines the eyelid with the eyeball by its conjunctiva, and second function is it secrete the aqueous and mucin part of the tear film. It provides nutrition to the cornea, and in immunosurveillance it prevents the entry of the microorganism into the eyes. And coming toward the conjunctivitis, it is the inflammation of this conjunctiva. The common features are hyperemia, mean redness and swelling, opaque discharge, and there may be clear tearing in case of virus, and follicles may be formed and crusting can occur. So coming towards clinical features, common symptoms are lacrimation, grittiness, stinging and burning of the eyes. Coming towards the clinical feature, firstly discharge. It may be watery in case of viral conjunctivitis and acute allergy conditions, and mucoid in case of chronic allergic conjunctivitis and autoimmune condition, purulent and mucopurulent in case of bacterial conjunctivitis. And there may be hyperemia, it may be mild, moderate and severe. And coming towards the Subconjunctival hemorrhage, they occur mostly in case of viral conjunctivitis. They may be of this size, or maybe of this severity. And there may be chemosis, swelling of the eyelid, and it mostly occur in allergic or severe infective conjunctivitis. And there may be formation of papilla and follicles formed in case of virus mostly, and there may be chlamydia and toxic conditions, and papilla formed in case of mostly allergy and bacterial cases. Papilla are the red dots of varying size because it has centrally red vessels, and the follicles are avascular white nodules or lesions, and the follicles has lymphocyte, and the papilla has all other types of inflammatory cells as well, so it's non-specific. There may be for pseudomembrane formation or true membrane formation mostly in case of diphtheria conjunctivitis, and there may be lymphadenopathy, and its enlargement of preauricular lymph node typically occurs in viral and gonococcal conjunctivitis. There may be corneal involvement, and this is punctate keratitis or ulceration. It occurs in keratoconjunctivitis. Here you can see, this is the same papilla formation. And there may be systemic symptoms like upper respiratory tract symptom, fever and malaise, mostly in allergies. So we'll classify the conjunctivitis on three bases. Firstly, on the base of discharge, then on the base of etiology, and then on the base of conjunctival reaction. Firstly, on the base of acute discharge, may be watery may be viral, may be acute allergic inflammation, and mucoid will be in chronic allergic inflammation, and autoimmune condition called keratoconjunctivitis sicca. And mucopurulent and purulent would be bacterial, and especially in case of chlamydial infection and gonococcal infection. So the next is on the base of etiology, and it is the microbial conjunctivitis and non-microbial conjunctivitis. Microbial conjunctivitis would be bacterial conjunctivitis, viral conjunctivitis, chlamydial conjunctivitis, and fungal conjunctivitis. And non-microbial cause may be allergy, may be autoimmune condition, chemical, and there may be any toxin. So the third is on the base of conjunctival reaction. There may be two types of reactions: follicular conjunctivitis and papillary conjunctivitis. Follicular conjunctivitis may be viral because we have learned that the follicular has accumulation of the lymphocytes, which is mostly done in virus case, and chlamydial infection is special case, and topical medication. In viral infection, adenovirus, herpes simplex virus, and picornavirus. Chlamydial infection, trachoma and paratrachoma, medication is Eucerin and epinephrine. And papillary reaction would be done in chronic irritation cases. Like in allergic cases, there is chronic irritation, and autoimmune condition which is also for long term, chronic irritation and chronic blepharitis. In allergic condition, venereal conjunctivitis, atopic conjunctivitis, autoimmune condition, cicatricial pemphigoids, and these are the lesions of the mucous membrane. Stevens-Johnson syndrome. There is also blistering on the mucous membrane, chronic irritation with contact lens, prosthesis, and nylon sutures. Chronic blepharitis like squamous blepharitis, and topical medication like atropine. Thank you very much. This is the end of our lecture.